Communication is key in any relationship. It's even more key in family relationships. To build strong, healthy relationships, you have to communicate early and often. I think about multiple situations I'm in and day out. When the most stress is in my home, you could tell that my wife and I have not communicated well. And with small children, a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old, things are moving fast. And they have sports and activities and things they're doing, school and, just realizing there's so many different pockets that they're in. And then there's pockets I'm in professionally, there's pockets my wife is in, and there's pockets that we're in together. And if we don't communicate and get this stuff, we're looking at the same calendar, we're in trouble, and we will be in trouble fast. One of the things that I also believe that when you're talking about communicating and trying to have an impact, I'll give you an example with my daughter. That's something that happened very recently where my daughter, she's a lot like me. In my younger days, I had a very short fuse. Quick temper, attitude. My daughter's very similar. It's different, but I could see the strokes of the pen from me to her. We had a situation not too long ago where I had to pull her aside. She was upset about some things that did not go her way. And, she likes to kind of fizzle out like a short circuit. And I'm like, she's 8. I'm like, okay. So at first I'm upset that she's upset, which doesn't work. And then, she goes to a different part of the house. I come up there probably 5 minutes later, and I said, listen, in a very calm tone, I said, we have got to work on this, as a family unit. You having a short fuse is not going to work. It's just taken away from your intellect. You're very smart. It's taken away from your beauty because you're very beautiful. And I need you to understand there are ways to communicate what your thoughts are without short circuiting. And this was critical at that time. And she's listening. She has like this frown, but you could tell she's all in. And I said, your dad used to be like that. And then she just frowned. That frown turned into like this grin. And it's like, okay, here's the relation, here's the connection, here's the communication. And it's like, but your dad had to learn to not be like that so he could be more effective as a communicator. He could be more effective with people, more effective with getting his message across. And that's what we need for you. So we're going to work on this together. We're all gonna work on this together. And she received it. And it took a weight off of her that I didn't know would happen when I did that. And it speaks to the importance of effective communication. I didn't know that was gonna happen. I'm just being real. At the end of the day, I was shooting my shot, but at the same time, I wanted to get through to her. But I also wanted to let her know that we don't have to fix this tonight. It doesn't have to be fixed in 5 seconds. But we need to work on this diligently, over and over and over and over again so that you can continue to grow at 9, 10, 11, when we can get to this place of without short circuiting, without short fusing, communicating, because she's a very effective communicator. She's a very effective storyteller. She's really good. So it's like, okay, let's get the beauty out of that. Let's get the gems out of that. Let's learn how to communicate so you can use this for your future, so that you can use this on your path in life, because the first way is not gonna work. And the second way, you have a shot. So these are things that I do or try to do inside a relationship, family or not. How are we reaching people? How are we going to communicate effectively? And just making sure that, I just gave you multiple different forms of communications and styles of communication, but everything is wrapped up in communication, and without it, things fall apart. With it, you can get day to day, week to week, month to month, and year to year. I really do believe there's a lot of communication that goes unsaid, that's spoken. And some of it carries a lot of weight. And if it's not addressed verbally, it's being buried. And some things get buried alive. You usually don't bury them dead. You bury them alive. That means that they have the ability to reoccur, come back up, and that's what you see a lot inside relationships and especially family relationships. So if you think communication is not key, think again, but let's be effective. Let's hit the root. Let's have some sensitivity. Let's have care, because at the end of the day, yelling and screaming, it eradicates our relationships over time, especially in family relationships. It's all fun for a certain period of time, and after a while, it eradicates the relationship, it erodes the relationship over time. And you try to get it back sometimes, but you can't always do it. So let's think about how we're communicating. Let's think about why we're communicating. Let's think about who we're communicating to. Let's think about what we want the message to be.